Rexroth. I got a little update here for you on the impending second storm of Tuesday. It is 2 for Tuesday. It's a special. You get not one but two winter systems to come through. This is pretty unusual to have them back to back like this because they're Alberta Clippers, because they're fast movers. It's interesting to have them backed up back to back here. So one this morning. Half an inch to an inch and a half of snow widespread, caused some slippery spots on the roads. This is going to be a little slower, a little juicier, and a little warmer. Look at the temperatures now on the map here. 34 in Detroit, 36 in Mount Clemens. A few spots still around or below the freezing mark. Lapeer, Flint, and Port Sanilac. But for the vast majority of us, we are above freezing. We may drop a degree or two at the most as we get the snow started, but it looks like it'll just slowly keep trying to go back up. And what's going to happen is we're going to get snow first, and then we're going to get rain as we go overnight. It's actually going to warm enough to get rain in here. So you see the first band of snow coming in now. The purple areas on the north are a winter weather advisory. I'll show you some details on that coming up. But you can see the snow moving in now. It's the white and the blues. The rain is still back out over Lake Michigan. What will happen is we'll get a pretty good wide shield of snow first. That's where most of the snow, where and when I guess, is where most of the snow will have a chance to stick. It'll have to pick up the pace a little bit to stick because we're above freezing now, but the ground is much colder because of the recent cold that we've had. So I think it starts to stick, and it'll stick the most on the north side here. So if you look at what's going on, it is St. Clair, Sanilac, and Lapeer counties under a winter weather advisory. Starts at 10 o'clock, another 40 minutes from now or so. It is about 19 after. Another 40 minutes or so, and then it'll stay coldest here the longest tonight. So the least amount of opportunity to change over to rain will be around and north of I-69. That's why there's a winter weather advisory, and the snow amounts there will be more as we go along. All right, so let's talk about how this works out on Futurecast. I showed you it's already in the southwest part of our area. Here we are at 9:15 now. We'll move this ahead till about midnight or so, and that's a pretty wide shield of snow. And it's all snow at that point, but then when we go from midnight to 3, some of the southern parts of our area start to change over to rain. And then if we go to 3 into the morning, see how that warming line goes farther and farther north? Doesn't quite get north of Lapeer or Port Huron. That area right there is about as far north as it gets, and that won't have a big impact on snowfall. That's why the winter weather advisory is for St. Clair, Lapeer, and for Sanilac County. It's mostly the northern portions of Lapeer and St. Clair County north of I-69. So this is 11 o'clock in the morning. So the point is we're going to get warmth to increase overnight into tomorrow morning's rush. We're going to likely have a changeover from snow to rain by the morning rush. Here it is till 11 o'clock. And at this point, the backside of the system comes through and the cold air comes back in, and things wrap up pretty quickly. I would guess that most of the snow is done by 1 o'clock or so in the afternoon. This is 4 o'clock, and you can see if we go forward in time, we're just changing back to this cold flow off of Lake Michigan. We might get a few flurries on Thursday. But the whole point is, I'll back it up here again, snow overnight, and then starting to work in that rain and the warmer temperatures as we go late overnight into and through the morning rush. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning. Here's 9 o'clock in the morning. You get the idea. So that is a big impact on what happens on the roads. Now I'm going to show you some snow totals, and they are heavier north than south. And as you look at the tip of the thumb through the Lapeer area, that's 4 to 6. Again, that's the area north of I-69 has the least chance to change over to rain and be an issue there. So the snow gets to pile up better there. As you work your way through the northern suburbs of the metro area, it's 2 to 4 inches, and then 1 to 2 south of Detroit and Ann Arbor. Again, those amounts are going to come mostly tonight as it sticks. That second batch on the end of the storm tomorrow at midday to early afternoon, that can't be anything more than an inch. So most of the snowfall and it'll be tough to be an inch, let's put it that way. So most of the snowfall is coming in the first part of this storm, and then we get warmer, and then the slippery roads overnight go to slushy and sloppy roads. So here is a look at what's going on in terms of the timeline. From now until midnight, snow begins, works its way from the southwest to the northeast. Northeast last, of course, since it's coming from the southwest. Midnight to 3 a.m., that's when we're really locked in for a good 3 hours or so of good, solid, steady snow. And then it starts changing over to rain, first in the southern counties, last in the northern counties, between 3 a.m. through the rush hour. Most of the metro area will have rain during the rush hour. And then it works its way to the north. And then at the end of the storm, again, late morning through early afternoon, it goes back to snow. That batch comes through, and that can't be much. So the point is, you look at this, and you say, oh, wow, this is going to be a problem in the morning. Well, it's going to be sloppy and slushy, but if temperatures are going to be warm enough, like 35 to 37 in the morning commute around Detroit, they'll get out and they'll plow and they'll salt, and you'll be in pretty good shape. You're going to have to slow down in case you run into slush in the turnarounds, that kind of thing. Neighborhood streets will be a problem probably. But the main thoroughfares and the highways are going to be much better tomorrow morning, even though you would normally think that's the toughest time to have this moving through. They'll be better then than they will overnight, because overnight with the widespread snow, we'll get snow-covered roads. Temperatures are a little bit cooler. The pace of the snow gets up. It can kind of overcome that degree or two above freezing. And so I think the toughest time to travel is probably going to be about midnight to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then as we go to the rush hour, sloppier, slushier, and still have to slow down and take it easy. But it looks like temperatures are warm enough at the surface that that won't be a huge, huge problem. At the end of the day, as we get the sun to go down and start getting to the evening drive, we might redevelop some slippery spots because temperatures will start to drop below the freezing mark. It doesn't happen immediately, but that's the issue. So here's a look at what is most important probably to you, how the roads are going to be at different times of the day. Now I've got my chat box up here, and everybody's asking about different schools. There have been some schools that have closed. You can go to WXYZ.com and get a list of school closings. They're also going to be at the bottom of the screen during the whole newscast on TV 20 Detroit at 10, and of course at 11 on Channel 7. Some schools have already closed. If you're looking for your specific one, again, WXYZ.com, or you can watch tonight at 10 and 11. We don't have any control over that. I don't consult with any of the schools. They don't ask us what's going on. I've heard from several superintendents in the past that they do listen to what we say, they listen to what the Weather Service says, they listen to other TV stations as well, and make their decisions. So I'll be surprised. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little surprised that so many have canceled already so early with the information I'm showing you here. But again, we're not part of that. So WXYZ.com is where you can get your information. Here are the low temperatures for tonight. These are a little bit on the conservative side, meaning probably cooler than what they'll be. My concern is as the snow picks up its pace, we might drop from 34 to 32, something like that in Detroit. But then temperatures will go back up again with the heart of the storm and the warmth of the storm coming through overnight into the early morning hours. And so I think these numbers are right around that 32 mark. Those probably technically will be the lows at some point after midnight. But our temperatures in the morning should be warmer than this, should be in the mid-30s in a lot of spots, especially around Metro Detroit and to the south. So it's snow at first and then over to rain, and then tomorrow we go from rain to snow, and it moves out in the early afternoon, and look at these highs. These are mid to late morning high temperatures in most cases, 36, 37, 38. That's pretty warm at the surface. Winds will turn from the southwest to the west and northwest. It'll be breezy through the day tomorrow, and that's going to be kind of a forebear of the cold air that's coming back in. But we're going to go from rain early on in the day back to snowfall. And again, that last batch of snow is probably going to be less than an inch, so that's not a whole bunch of an issue, especially if we're still dropping back down around that freezing mark. All right, real quick peek ahead. Just to let you know, tomorrow is the warmest day of the next several at 38 in Detroit, It's not that warm to the north and northwest, but it's pretty mellow in the morning hours. And then you can see we've got highs in the 20s, lows in the teens, even perhaps some single digits Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. It gets really, really cold. So I'm just looking at the questions in here. All the things going on here. It's mostly about school closings. Again, WXYZ.com is the place to look. So let me give you two thoughts real quick here, and we'll get ready for the news. These are snow totals, and most of these amounts are coming tonight in this first batch in the overnight. But by morning, temperatures are quite a bit warmer in the metro area here. 32 to 34 overnight, maybe some snow-covered and slippery roads, but then getting warmer at the surface, snow changing to rain, so slushy and sloppy in the morning. Certainly should slow down. We start our morning at 4:30 on Channel 7. You can always see what's going on with Mike Taylor and traffic as well to see what the roads are like. But that's going to be improved, I think, for the Wednesday morning commute compared to what's going to happen overnight tonight. And then again, getting colder late on Wednesday, especially in the evening hours, you might have some slippery spots there. All right, so that's the second storm of the same day, which again is very unusual. I just wanted to give you an update there and let you know what's going on. It is coming up on 9:30. I'm going to get things together for TV20 Detroit at 10. And again, the school closes will be there. They'll also be on at 11 on Channel 7. And they're at WXYZ.com. You can find them there if you want to.